Welcome to A Name in Heaven Ministries. For those of you who are tuning in for the first time, today's show is my final response to a letter I received from Bobby, a 16-year-old boy who lives in Alabama. You will need to watch the last two shows to catch up with today's conclusion. Bobby, when I received your letter and read how young you were, I decided immediately that I needed to handle your letter and questions as if you were my own son. I began by showing you where gays, lesbians, and cross-dressers are found in the Bible, and I have shown you how our Heavenly Father feels about these people. I hope I have made it clear that God does not care if you are gay or straight. God does not care if you are gay or straight. Okay, you're going to have to excuse me, brothers and sisters. I'm still new at this. God has ultimately created you to be the way you are, and He loves you unconditionally. Now, I want to talk to you about teens claiming a sexual label, and I want you to know you do have options here. I also want you to know the choices you make will have a big impact in regard to how easy or how hard you are going to make your life in the days and years ahead. My hope is to steer you in a wise, smooth, and safe direction. I am totally against any person under the age of 21 stamping a label on themselves when it comes to defining their sexual orientation or sexual identity. It is my opinion from 54 years of life and life's experience that people are far too complicated and diverse, especially males, to be labeled sexually at any age. There are millions of people of both genders who have lived a heterosexual lifestyle for many years to later find themselves surprisingly in love with someone of their same gender. There are also millions of people of both genders who have lived a gay or lesbian lifestyle for many years to later find themselves in love with someone of the opposite gender. A sexual label is a small box that the majority of people cannot fit into, nor should they try. When it comes to teens such as yourself claiming a sexual label to identify yourself with, then going before the world with this label has proved to be very hurtful and sometimes deadly for many. Bobby, it is my opinion that anyone under the age of 21 is still growing as a sexual person. No one under 21 years of age should claim a sexual label of any kind. You are 16 years old. You are still growing physically and emotionally and intellectually. Now, you have stated to me that you are gay, and I do honor and respect your feelings and your opinions about yourself. However, there is only one person in the universe who truly knows the sexual journey that lies ahead for you, and that is our Heavenly Father. For a 16-year-old to make a concluding decision to claim a sexual label simply is not wise. Most boys at 16 years of age feel like they are gay or bisexual. And of course, a majority of 16-year-old boys would never admit that, because we are living in a very homophobic world. The hormones of teens, especially for boys, are raging between the ages of 12 to 21. You are at an age where you are experiencing physical changes, your feelings about everything is changing, and you are having thoughts that are new for you, and this is very intense and overwhelming for people your age. This is normal. This is a part of growing and maturing into adulthood. You are merely growing up. Your body, your emotions, and your intellect are trying to cope and make sense of all these new feelings and changes that are taking place at a very fast pace. A label is a small box. In that small box, there is no room for you to grow. Putting yourself in this small box will stunt your growth sexually, emotionally, and intellectually. Now let me make it very clear, Bobby. I am not suggesting you experience different kinds of sex, sexual positions, or learning new things sexually, etc. In today's depraved and twisted world, there are many who would hear the term growing sexually and think that meant trying new or kinky types of sex. This is not what I'm talking about here, far from it. As a matter of fact, you are 16 years old, you should not be having any kind of sex with anyone other than yourself. And brothers and sisters watching today's show, keep in mind Bobby and I are two guys talking here. Bobby, you are still very young. You are not done developing yet. Sex for you at this age would be harmful and damaging emotionally. I am not suggesting that you close your mind or your heart to friends, relationships, or love. I am recommending you keep your mind and heart open to all of these things. This is a part of growing and maturing. I have not forgotten what it is like to be 16 years old. I do know how you are feeling. You probably feel you are ready for sex and that you would be a master at it. You may be engaging in sex already. I want you to know, regardless of your sexual orientation, whether gay or straight, I do not want you to have sex until you are married. And hopefully gay marriage will be here before you turn 21. And if it isn't, you can make the allowances for that like generations have. And this comes from our Heavenly Father, and His direction is for your benefit. I want you to wait until you have allowed yourself to grow and mature more so your emotional and mental and intellectual faculties have caught up with your hormones in your body. This advice is for your well-being. I am attempting to keep you from hurting yourself or someone from hurting you. I am trying to keep you out of harm's way. I know there are many people out there encouraging you to come out of the closet and join the gay and lesbian fight. A person under 21 is not done developing and growing yet. So calling a teenager or adolescent in the closet is just plain uninformed. These adult, open, gay, and lesbian people encouraging you to join the gay and lesbian fight are looking out for themselves and their own agendas, not what is best for you. The gay and lesbian fight for equal rights is a fight and responsibility for adult people of all sexual orientations, not a fight for children or teens. This is not a world for you. You have an entire adult lifetime ahead of you to be part of that fight for righteousness, should you choose. Our Heavenly Father created sex for adult people only. He did not create sex for children or teens in any shape, way, or form. Bobby, I do want you to keep an open mind about sex, and I want you to embrace all of the sexual desires you are feeling for male and female. You would be shocked to know how many males who have felt the same way you are feeling at 16 years of age, who by the time they were 21 were not attracted to the same gender at all. And I'm not talking about people in the closet here. The majority of 16-year-old boys think they are gay or bisexual. Many of those boys grow up to fall in love with females and are quite happy with that outcome. Only a grown-up, fully developed, mature adult person can live in the closet or live on the down low. You are 16. Your world has been very small up until now, and your life experiences at this age are minimal. There is a great, big, ugly, and hurtful world out there just waiting for boys your age, and girls at that age for that matter. There are men and women who are always on the lookout for boys your age. They resemble lions searching for prey to devour. And they use, manipulate, and molest young boys your age. You have asked me if you're in your letter if I thought you should tell your parents that you are gay. My response to that question is, I don't even want you to tell yourself that you are gay. Because you are 16 years old, you are not done developing as a person or sexually. I am not asking you to be in the closet or live on the down low, nor am I asking you to deny your sexual feelings. It is impossible for a person to be in the closet when they are still developing into an adult, i.e., you are not a fully developed sexual person yet. And like so many teenagers, Bobby, you're in such a big hurry to be an adult, which is good in many respects and in regard to many different topics and areas, but not this one. When it comes to sex, this is something for adult people, and young people like yourself can really get hurt. I worked with a woman once whose 14-year-old daughter came down with AIDS. 14. Sex is no joke today. It's something you have to take very seriously. Only a mature adult person can be in the closet or living on the down low. These are terms that identify adult people and adult lifestyles. Any sexual activity for a person in their teens is a form of self-sexual abuse. Sexual abuse at the hands of someone, or sexual abuse at the hands of someone else. Our Heavenly Father created sex to be an act between two adult people only. An act that was created for two adult people to share together for pleasure and procreation. Our Heavenly Father did not create sex to be a violation against young children or teens. Many teens today have been influenced by others to claim the sexual label of gay or lesbian and go before the world with that label. Little do these teens know, when they do this, their world immediately changes and shrinks into that little box. I want to introduce you to that little box. When your parents come to believe you are gay, they tell your brothers, your sisters, your aunts, uncles, and your grandparents, and very quickly this news reaches your neighborhood, your school, your pastor, and your church members, as well as any sports teams you are involved with. Suddenly, everyone will treat you differently, because most children and teens and adult people are not smart enough to know what I just taught you about sexual development. And most people are homophobic. Most parents and brothers and sisters of gay and lesbian people are homophobic. Today's world is not Glee. Far from it. Today's world is vicious and brutal for everyone, straight or gay. People in your neighborhood, your classmates, and friends will treat you differently. Many will deliberately try to harm you emotionally and physically. The females in your life and community do not want you to be gay, and the males in your life and community want you to keep it in the closet. These people will say hurtful things and hurt you physically in an attempt to protect their way of life. The heterosexual females and the perceived heterosexual males will see you as a threat. I received a letter from the father of a 16-year-old son the other day. This father said his son told one friend at school that he was gay one morning. And by lunchtime, the entire school knew about it, and the harassment began and never ended. Many girls and women are under an enormous amount of pressure to have a handsome male on their arm for financial support, marriage, and children, but mostly due to social status. Women are brutal towards each other and very competitive. Many boys and men are in the closet. They want to live the American dream. They want a nice home, nice cars, nice toys, and children, and they want good, secure jobs, and they want to fit in socially, while fulfilling their true sexual desires in the closet. Men are brutal towards each other and very competitive as well. Your friends' parents will not allow their children to hang out with you anymore. Their mothers will fear you will turn their sons gay. And their fathers will fear you will influence their sons to live out of the closet. If the females see you talking to boys they perceive as straight, they will go up to those boys and say, "Why are you talking to Bobby? Bobby's gay. Are you gay? You must be if you are talking to a gay boy." Your male friends will not want to be seen with you because they will fear you will expose how they are feeling about themselves, and in most cases expose their own gay sexual behavior. Sexual behavior that God nor I want you involved in. In America, the suicide rate among gay children and teens is climbing at an enormous rate. A minimum of 4,000 gay and lesbian American children and teens commit suicide each year. And the suicide rate among cross-dresser and very feminine or very masculine children is extremely high. This is living proof that children and teens cannot handle living in this small box that goes by the label of gay and lesbian pride. Let's look at Proverbs 2, please. Proverbs 2, 6 through 14. For the Lord gives wisdom. Out of his mouth comes knowledge and understanding. He lays up sound wisdom for the righteous. He is a buckler to them that walk uprightly. He keeps the paths of judgment and preserves the way of his saints. Then shall you understand righteousness and judgment and equity, yes, every good path. When wisdom enters into your heart and knowledge is pleasant unto your soul, discretion shall preserve you. Now this is God talking to us, and I'm going to read that again, Bobby. Discretion shall preserve you. Understanding shall keep you, to deliver you from the way of the evil man, from the man that speaks forward things, who leave the paths of uprightness to walk in the ways of darkness, who rejoice to do evil and delight in the forwardness of the wicked. Did you notice God is telling us that exercising wisdom and discretion is a protection for us? The majority of men and women in today's world have too much at stake, and they are trying harder than ever to protect their way of life. Most people believe that allowing gays and lesbians to have happy, productive lives with the same rights as they have is a threat to their way of life. Bobby, I am 54 years old. 95% of the men who have asked me out on dates or straight out asked me for sex in my entire lifetime have been married men. And this has been the experience for most men. God does not want that for you. God has a better life in store for you. Their abuse and oppression have proved to be too much for our children and teens to bear. And these people have no regrets, no remorse, and never give a second thought to the lost lives of so many innocent children at the hands of their hatred and their viciousness in an attempt to preserve their way of life. Every bill that comes before legislature that provides rights or protection for gays and lesbian people gets voted down every time, over and over. And these are the reasons why. Bobby, the only thing I want you to be concerned about in the years to come are your grades. Are they where they should be? Are all of your assignments turned in? In a very short time, you will be paying all of your own bills. Do you want to live a prosperous life or do you want to live in poverty? Because the choices you make right now and the attention that you put forth towards your future is going to dictate how your life is going to be for the rest of your life. You need to be focused on grades, school, an education, being a smart, wise, level-headed kid. That's all you need to be worried about right now. The adult life is full of all those things that you want to be involved with and a million times more things that you're not going to want to be involved with. You've got a whole lifetime ahead of you. Are you obeying your parents? Are all of your friends alcohol and drug free? Are your friends interested in their futures? And are they emotionally healthy people? These are the things a 16-year-old should be consumed with at this stage of their lives. And as far as your sexual desires, pay attention to them and keep in mind it is okay to be gay. Also keep an open mind in regard to the opposite gender. Females are a gift from God for men, and many women are wonderful people. A heterosexual life can be a blessing if you are wise when choosing a mate. Above all things, I want you to love yourself, whatever your sexual identity turns out to be. However, it is very important that you live a life that is authentic to your heart. If you ignore your heart as you go through life, you will lose yourself in time. And there is nothing uglier and sadder than being in the presence of someone who lost who they really were a long time ago. And I don't want that to happen to you. Now, Bobby, unfortunately, today's situation for gays and lesbians in America and worldwide is bleak and heartbreaking. I want you to know there are millions of gay, lesbian, and heterosexual people worldwide who are outraged over today's situation. I want you to know that you are rubbing shoulders with these people every day as you walk through life. Not everybody is a gay hater. Our Heavenly Father, Jesus, His myriad of angels, and millions of people have your back. These millions of people stand behind you in support. When times get tough, I want you to remember that you do not stand alone out there. Bobby, you are lovable, and you are loved and accepted by millions worldwide and universe-wide. Love for you stretches far into the heavens. Don't ever forget that. So I do not want you moping and crying and depressed because the world isn't the way you wanted it to be. This is a reality that all people face on a daily basis, gay and straight. At the age of 21, I want you to give your sexual orientation another thought. I am hoping at that time you will be able to say, I am human. This is my label. This is what I am. And my sexual desires are none of anybody's business. That's what I hope you will be able to say to yourself when you look in the mirror at 21, and every person out there watching today's show. Bobby, I do realize we are all different. We come from different areas of the world, and we all come from different backgrounds and environments. I want you to know, whatever you decide to do, you have the full support and unconditional love of our Heavenly Father as well as mine. Bobby and all of you children and teens watching today's show, I don't know much about you. All I know is what you share in your letters. However, there are many young boys out there who are sexually active. It is my opinion that many male children are molested by other men and women in today's world. There are more of you out there than people realize. Our world today is full of people lacking natural affection. A person who molests, or should I say rapes a child, because that's what it is lacking natural affection. It is against the law. It is a crime to have any kind of sex with a child or teenager. When children or teens are raped, this makes them believe they deserved for this to happen to them. A child or teen who has been raped believes this is their worth and value. A child or teen who has been raped believes they somehow deserved it and somehow were worthy of this crime happening to them. Often children who have been molested or raped continue in a path of sexual activity because this is what they believe they are worthy of. And most children don't remember they were raped because this is so overwhelming for the mind of a child or teenager. When a child or teen is raped, it often stays in the subconscious till their 30s or 40s. Then the memories start to surface. Because at your age, your mind is not mature enough to deal with it. Excuse me. So many of today's young children and teens are acting out in destructive sexual activity, and they don't even realize why they are doing it. This causes them to hate themselves for their behavior. Yet their natural desire for normal, healthy love and affection continues. Because it is natural and normal for all children, all teens, and all adults to need love and affection. We all need that to survive and live healthy and productive, well-balanced lives. A molesting or raping makes a child believe they are not good enough or valuable enough to deserve a life where they are not used for sex. As a result, these children continue a pattern of sexual abuse by their own efforts. Excuse me. Many of these children think this is love and affection. And it is only natural for children and teens to desire love and affection. A raping makes a child believe inappropriate sexual experiences is love and affection. So ultimately, the raping of a child or teen takes all of the good and natural needs of a child or teen, and it distorts and confuses those natural needs that all children and all teens require to survive and to grow emotionally. If you are sexually active, this sexual activity needs to end right now. I want you to love and respect yourself more than that. You deserve a childhood and a teen life where you are not sexually abused. You are in control of your own body. You are in control of your own heart. You are in control of your own mind and emotional well-being. You have the right and the power to protect yourself from sexual activity of all kinds. If you are being sexually abused by your father, your stepfather, your mother's boyfriend, your uncle, a friend of the family, your coach, or older boys in the neighborhood, or by anyone, that ends right now. After this show, I want you to pick up the phone and call 911. When the dispatcher answers the phone, you tell them your name, age, address, and tell them who has been raping you. Then you just wait there for the police to come to your home. I know this is a scary thing for you to do. You didn't do anything wrong. I want you to know that. This is not your fault. No one will be mad at you because of these things happen to you. If these things are happening to you, I want you to call 911 right after this show is over. If you are old enough to dial 911, you are old enough to protect your body, your soul, and your heart, and your mind. If you are old enough to dial 911, you are old enough to have that power, and you deserve that right. You didn't do anything wrong. It is not your fault that this happened to you. God says, and I say, you deserve a life without sexual abuse. When you dial that phone, you remember that our Heavenly Father and His myriad of angels and Jesus are at your side watching over you. Brothers and sisters, would you please join me in prayer for Bobby and all of God's children worldwide? Father, All of your children worldwide and myself are praying that you will help Bobby and all of your children to see the value of all things in moderation, common sense, discretion, and wisdom. Please help Bobby and all of your children to realize it is not wise for them to wear their sexual desires across their chest for the world to see. Please help all your children to understand they have more growing and maturing to do. And please help them to realize this is your way of keeping them out of harm's way. And Father, if Bobby wakes up on Monday morning and puts steamrollers in his hair, a face full of makeup, paints his nails, and dresses from head to toe in feminine attire, and throws a gay pride banner across his chest, and trots off to school in a blaze of gay glory and a blaze of gay pride, as I did, please send your myriad of angels to protect him physically and to protect his young, fragile, and sensitive heart, and help him to find happiness through the rough years that will lay ahead for him. Bobby, thank you so much for writing me. I know your letter will help and lift the hearts of millions. Bobby and brothers and sisters, you are always in my thoughts and prayers. And I love all of you. Be kind and loving to each other and go in peace rejoicing.